Make them cheer for you guys.
Left side!
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Okay. I want to ask each of you, guys, if you're a horror fan, if you are, what's your horror journey? If you're not, that's fine. Just say no and move on. I'll get you something else.
Hi, I'm a horror fan. My name is Danny Roebuck. My horror journey is I started loving Universal monster movies when I was a child. I have recently played a Universal Dracula. Thank you. And all my dreams came true until I had a crazy clown kill me. Then I knew my life was
Yes, I'm a horror fan, as you all don't know. My favorite horror movies are 10 Things I Hate About You. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Friends. Titanic. Listen, let's face it, I'm a rom-com guy. You all know that if you know the series. But I have fallen in love with the horror community and the horror films. Damien has shown me a whole new life, and you people have expanded on that, so I will be a horror fan forever now.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I'm a horror fan.
Hi, Kaylee.
I started watching scary movies when I was 6. I watched Poltergeist and have been afraid of televisions ever since. Yeah, I love hauntings. That's my little genre. Yeah.
Keep right back because it works.
I'm Samantha Scafidi, and I didn't grow up in horror, which I think I talked a lot about, but through Terrifier and the conventions and meeting people, I've fallen madly in love with horror. I think it's a brilliant genre. I'm more of like a psychological horror, but I've grown to really respect and love the gore aspect of horror as well, the slashers.
Cool. Hi. I'm David. But
Some of us have never been to support groups. Some of us
This is an intervention, isn't it? Oh god, but yeah, I was late to horror because my mom was a big chicken, and so she thought the Fall of the House of Usher was the scariest movie she ever saw. So I didn't watch horror movies growing up until like my senior year of high school, and when Scream 2 came out, and I went to go see that in the theaters because there was a girl I had a crush on in the cast that invited me to go, and I was like, okay, I can't chicken out for this girl. And I loved it, and I had to watch all these movies afterwards. So like the next year in college, my roommate, who came from very, very strict Southern Baptist family, they never watched horror movies either. So we would get videotapes every single weekend and watch a whole entire series every weekend and caught up on our missed childhood. So that's how I got, and now I get to do this. So it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there he is.
We've had your chip.
Oh my God. My name's Bradley Stryker. I'm a movie fan, and I came to the horror genre late, like a lot of people. First movie I did was, I think it was many moons ago. It was a horror film that we shot in 4 days. Sorry, yeah, exactly. I thought 26 pages a day was normal. And through that process and subsequently studying and writing and making some myself, I've actually learned a lot about the genre and I love it. I will say through this Terrifier experience, I got to become part of whatever this is for the first time, which has been fantastic and fun. And for people that in my life that don't understand what this is, I'm like, it's the same thing as being a sports fan, it's just not sports, right? And I love it, it's really cool, and you guys' passion is really exemplary and really fun to be part of, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Chip.
Hi, Chip.
Hi, Chip.
Hi, Chip.
Thank y'all. It's my first trip here. I guess I'm old as hell, so like I go back to like the movie that got me started in horror was of course the original Halloween. I had an experience watching it at the theater. I saw it in Lafayette, Louisiana. It was one of the old school theaters that had curtains down the side, and in the middle of the movie, people were screaming, but absolutely nothing was going on. And there was actually a bird that was trapped behind the curtain that was flying out, scaring the shit out of everybody. So, like so much of what Bradley and Phil said, I think what really I've found is, and going to the Days of the Dead in Chicago back in November, is just that the collective love that y'all have shared to me and everybody else in the cast has just been amazing. Like it's opened up a whole new avenue for me to engage and meet people, and I find that extremely awesome.
I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Yep, thanks. My life is a psychological horror. So.
Okay, I want to watch this. Sign
You're
me
watching
up.
it right now. Yeah, this is it. In front of a crowd of people. No, I do love horror movies. My favorite is Terrifier 3. I'm just getting started on my horror journey.
Okay.
We have to pay him now.
It's all right. Stick with us. We'll show you the way.
Yeah, no, I'm just so grateful for all of you and for all of you. It's been such a great experience.
My name's Michael Levy. I'm a horror fan for sure. Grew up really loving horror. My mom got me and my siblings into it. My grandfather, we would decorate our house for Halloween. Our display got bigger and bigger each year. Now it's like a museum. Danny Roebuck's house is kind of like that too, actually. Got into horror watching things like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. Obviously original Halloween and The Leprechaun was a big one for me. And so my journey kind of went that way through the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and then I kind of got into the gore stuff really late though. It was more like, those atmosphere horror, in the beginning. And then through Damien was when I really got an appreciation for the gore, and I went back and then really got into it from there. And happy I did.
Amazing. Thank you.
My name is Michael Levy. I directed Stream. I'm Johnny, and I'm a lifelong horror person. My dad took me to see Creepshow when I was 5. And then my kindergarten teacher yelled at him. And they had to send me to therapy. But I was obsessed from that day and forward. And I used to want to do makeup effects. And so I used to go to horror cons and follow Tom Savini around. And now here I am next to him, So I just love the genre. I love all the subgenres of horror, but I'm a big gore whore. So, and I'm very, very grateful to have worked on Terrifier 3 with all these lovely people, because it is a real family. And most of them are from New York, and I'm from New York, and there's not a lot of New York horror movies anymore. There never were. You got Chud and Jason Takes Manhattan.
Once in Quaddle.
Yeah, New York Ripper, if anyone's ever seen
And
that.
I know every single one of them.
You worked on every single
They
one.
mention them in Friends.
Props to New York City.
All right. Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Audience questions. Raise those hands. Pippa.
For those of you who have seen Smile, how do you think Art the Clown compares with the Smile entity?
How do you think Art the Clown compares with the Smile entity?
Never seen it. I'm afraid to see it. So someone
Well, being the horror aficionado
Yeah.
that I am, put my 2 cents here and just say, I would put Art the Clown far and above the what is it, the Smile you said?
Smile.
The Smile guy. Is it a guy? That's what I would the entity. I would put him up to the entity.
I like
Am I
it.
good?
Yeah, you're very good.
Hang on.
I have.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh, Art's better.
And we're not biased.
I'm not biased, no.
But I gotta get one step further because Art's charming and Smile's just fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it?
It is. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smile. It's actually really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different.
Yes, yes,
Stop
I agree.
begging.
We did
Stop
not-
begging
Yes,
for
I
being in our
agree.
movie. You could just say our movie is better.
No, I have to give a reason.
Dave can do a creepy smile too. I actually think back and forth that would be pretty good.
Give it a smile.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is. There it is.
It's been art all
It's the
along.
eyes.
You didn't realize it.
That's it.
That's right. All right, who else? Yes, Blue Hat. Yep.
One of my favorite things about the Terrifier movies is how they pay a lot of homage to like the classic, franchises and stuff, while still being its own original thing. So like some of you just said that you are horror fans. How much in your performances do you look at kind of those classic, Robert Englund or Jamie Lee Curtis or whoever, and how much of it is I want to do my own thing and striking that balance?
Well, for myself, I actually based art off of basically every single one of the horror icons that came forward. I kind of look at him as being the horror movie fanboy that actually acted upon all this stuff in a lot of ways. So there's also little bits and pieces of every single horror icon that came forward, and especially a lot of Freddy Krueger in that as well. I always kind of look at art as being the bastard child of Freddy Krueger and Marvel Arts. And I just kind of keep that in my head. That's what I kind of do with them.
And Damien, just putting it out there, because like you all know already, I am not the horror aficionado.
I wish you would have mentioned that before.
So I just want them to know that I ask questions much like you, because I didn't follow them, and I said, where'd you get these things? And the homage that you're talking about, Damien does specifically do it, but he definitely does a total new twist on it, and him and Dave worked with it quite well, because I started watching because Damien said, you gotta start watching these things. So I did start watching and see the similarities and the differences. So yes, there is quite a lot of homage paid to these characters.
When I worked with Damien, what's brilliant about Damien is he has a clear vision of what he wants, what he sees, especially in his characters. And he gives us a lot of freedom, but when I was having the conversation of where Vicky would go for free, he had made a few references of like, you gotta watch Bette Davis and What Happened to Baby Jane. Right? I said that right? Okay.
Yes, whatever
Is it
happened.
Betty Davis? Oh, Betty Davis, I didn't get that one.
Bye-bye.
Betty Davis. And that was, I had never seen it, and that was an amazing film to watch as a reference. And another one I looked to, I always say I wanted to bring my own thing and my own creativity to it, combined with Damien, but one person that I was really inspired by was Helen Bonham Carter in the Harry Potter series. With Bella, yeah, tell me what it is. I don't know, I already shot.
Well, you don't know how to drop a name.
They're so complicated.
Harry.
And she, especially with like her tackle, that was something that because I was very nervous. This day was like, I want her laugh to be, bigger than life. And I remember I really couldn't. I've told people this at the table. I couldn't really practice that at home because my neighbor would have thought it was crazy. So I basically came to set. And the first time I was trying to do that was on set. But I was really inspired by her in the Harry Potter series. She's unbelievable. She's very disturbing, and her laugh is larger than life. So that was definitely someone I had looked to. So there's like little shades of those.
And I'll just say, because you mentioned Jamie Lee Curtis, that I of course saw that in my teens. So there were a couple of things I did love about her performance.
Which was?
Yeah.
Say that.
He said a couple of things.
Yeah, I said it.
Get that?
Did she have?
Bill got the joke. Nobody here got the joke.
Tell her boobs.
I'm like I said, big horror fan, and got to know Damien after y'all made Terrifier 1, or just Terrifier, and we would have lots of conversations about, favorite horror movies and comedy horror, and like why that's sometimes scarier, in my opinion, because your brain just doesn't know what to relate to. And so when he asked me if I wanted to work on Terrifier 3, I was like, sure, but I want to be as iconic as Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. And so he was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. And so then I showed up, and I'm like putting on the clothes, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know this reference. And he's like, yeah, so I'm thinking like, you're kind of like the wet bandits in Home Alone. All right, I'll go with that, you know? So, comedy can't escape me, I guess, but yeah.
So, may I make a comment about that?
Say what?
Yeah.
No, so,
No.
no, I was just saying, may I make a comment
Yes,
about it?
absolutely.
So you guys were all too young. My father always says, my father introduced, like, you know, our parents helped guide us. My father says, you have no idea. He was 8 years old when Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein came out. And he said, you have no idea. We were under the seat screaming, he's behind you! Because they had never seen, everyone watched Abbott and Costello, but they had never seen them in that situation. And that remains one of his favorite movies because it's a key moment of his life. They were laughing and screaming and laughing and screaming. What Damien did is he figured out how to kind of put it all into the same thing. Like you're laughing while you're watching those kills because
Totally.
they're insane.
Yeah.
You know. So that's kind of, I think he hit on something where he just spun it and you did too, Phil. I mean, I know.
Don't call me a psychopath. I just told you, I watch Friends, God damn it.
Joe keeps landing like it's on the bricks, like the Indian airline. Oh, too soon. Hopefully no one's videotaping this.
Right there, look, you in the business, hello.
I think one of the most genius things about the Terrifier.
Thank you. Thank you.
Logan,
No, you got it, sure.
I think one of the most genius things about Terrifier series is that the music does the talking for Art the Clown. Can you talk a little bit about why that makes him so scary that he doesn't speak?
No, he cannot. He's not allowed to speak. He's done.
Like music, I mean, especially if you look back into like the old silent films, that's how they conveyed so much emotion was in the old silent film. It was through music because there wasn't spoken dialogue. That was sometimes put like the lines up on screen or something like that. So that's I know like music, especially with horror films, is been very key. Having a good soundtrack has been very key to so many horror films. That helps build up the tension. But we also have fun little comedic numbers with the music in the movie as well, especially the Clown Cafe song. And so I think it lends itself, it kind of does, I never really thought that way, but that actually kind of does lend the voice to art. It's like, I think that's kind of cool.
And let's give a little shout out, being that you brought it up, to Paul Wiley.
Yeah.
Host. And to the Jackson brothers, good question.
You had your hand up for a while. Yep.
So I was wondering if Art had to go against anyone in the horror fandom, doesn't matter if it's, Freddy Krueger or whatever, who would he go against and would he win with his arson of weaponry?
My face, Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun doesn't count. Leprechaun doesn't count.
Why not?
No, go ahead. I think she
Okay,
wanted you to answer that.
Well, man, I know everybody always says Pennywise, but I think that would be such an easy fight because Art really doesn't have any real fears and he would just point left at Pennywise But for myself, what I think would be a fun fight for him to go, someone like Ash would be fun because Ash knows how to deal with weird things like Art, like undead type things, deadites, all that kind of stuff. Art's definitely, I can't say what Art is. I don't even know yet because that's because it's script. But like I think that would be a cool team up, like a clash between those two because there's a lot of humor with those kind of characters as well. And chainsaw fight, that would be awesome. But also I would love to see him go up against Dr. Frankenfurter. That's what I want to say.
You fucking stole
I didn't hear it.
I
Oh,
think Tim Curry.
watch Red Hole.
I literally say Tim Curry from fucking Rocky Horror.
I also
also want to see Art the Clown go up against the guy that's in the well with the lotion on. And Cyrus with hands.
Buffalo Bill.
That's a great one. As I was saying!
And you thought he couldn't talk.
I would love to see him go up against another silent character. Nicolas Cage's character from Willy's Wonderland, the janitor. I think that would be an absolutely insane fight. And Nicolas Cage in general.
Everyone wants to fight Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
I think there needs to be like an elimination cage match. No rules. Bring what you
Maybe
can.
bring in the minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get like the whole like crime thing, you know, silent and everything, and like it's a psychological thing. Like you have somebody being campy and silly and about to kill you, and it's like not making sense of what's going on. But I know you have like a voice, and you do like a lot of voice impressions because I watch that podcast and everything. So what would Art sound like if he did have a voice, just for funsies for us?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a voice in your head?
It's contractually, you're not allowed.
Oh, you can't. Okay, I
You
didn't
can't
know.
answer that question.
Art,
Die tonight.
Art speaks in Italian.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
I mean, of course, he's never going to talk. I think whatever voice would come out of him would totally, people would be pissed off. So I don't think like that would be right. But to me, I think it would just be hysterical if he had some like posh British accent or something like that. Yes, I'm going to kill all of you little assholes. Or Bill Godfrey, you know, it's like, what the fuck are you doing over here? You're gonna like, don't take any more fucking selfies.
So, question. So, if Art the Clown had to like bump into someone that's deaf, would he like sign to the person, or would you just still keep going?
You could do like
He'd just kill them.
I love that idea. No, because of course there's Mike Flanagan, you know, Hush, which I thought was a fantastic movie. I was like, I love that whole concept of a deaf protagonist having to like survive against a killer because you know you don't realize how much you use your hearing for those kind of situations. I thought that was a brilliant concept. But also my aunt is actually deaf.
Yeah, I live in a deaf household, so
That's fantastic. Stupidly enough, I never learned sign language. I learned like the basics, but I was a kid. I was interested in action figures, and my aunt lip reads very well, and so I just would speak to her. But I didn't really realize one of the big inspirations for how I play art comes from her until like 2 years ago or something like that when I was at my cousin's wedding, and I'm speaking to my aunt, and I'm using the big facial expressions and the gestures, and I'm like, oh, that's where all this comes from. So I imagine it would be the same. I think it would actually be cool if Art all of a sudden just busted out in sign language. That would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
But
But I think that would be really cool. I never really thought of that, but I love that.
Yes.
Is there a part on any of you guys that was asked to play or do, and you guys it was too gross or didn't want to do it?
In Terrifier or just in anything?
In Terrifier.
Okay.
if we broke it.
I mean, everything in the first script that I read, I was like, this is horrifying. I almost didn't take, I tell this often, I didn't take Terrifier 1 because I was like, this is too violent. Because I didn't know Art the Clown at that time. I didn't know David, I didn't know Damien, I just thought Damien was a sick fuck. I was like, I can't do this. But ironically, everything after 1, I was like, game 4, even with Charlotte last scene.
Well, I can tell
Very
you-
excited for that.
I can tell you this, when I first started with Damien, I was like, that's blood, it's this and that. And after it was going, I was like, for Terrifier 3, when we did the scene in the mall, I said, listen, I I got a 4-year-old grandson. How about we grab him by the ankle and he swings him and starts banging him off the wall. He goes, "You're sick." I said, "No, it would be cool. Think about that." I told my daughter-in-law, I said, "Yeah, no, not with the real kid. I love the grandson. I'm not sick." I told my daughter-in-law, she says, "Oh, hell no." But I said, "No, it's not for real."
So instead, Phil blew up somebody else's shrine.
Yeah.
I wanted to have like Drew holding like his kid's severed limbs coming out. We never got that.
Yeah, that's where we drew the line. We drew the line with the kids.
Yeah.
That was ironic. Also, the most disturbing when I first read the script for 3. I called Damien. I'm a new dad. I got a kid who's 3 and my daughter's 7 months. And for the first time reading a Terrifier script, and I came here to spend it with you. My son called me this morning and thanked me for leaving him. But I read that scene with the kid and the Christmas, and it was the only time for like a half a second I called Damien. I'm actually questioning doing this movie, and this is the 3rd go around. He started laughing. He goes, "Really?" I said, "Nah, let's fucking kill the kids. Let's go." But it was that brief moment of like it hit me because of like you go through life and you know I never had kids, so it didn't bother me, and now it does. So it's.
I have them
Did
now,
it
and that's
bother
why I
anyone
want to
here?
Yeah.
Anyone bothered by the kid scene? Okay.
The foot soldier.
It didn't bother me.
I thought it was great.
It does bother people in some instances, but kids get killed in film all the time, and mostly not even in horror films.
Yeah.
So this is at least over the top kills.
Yeah. Clearly fiction and fantasy.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
No kids
I
got
will
harmed.
say that the scene that grossed me out, because I always get that question, and I want to know what it was. It was the Aunt Jess death. That one grossed me because I can't stand puke at all. I don't like it. I can take all the blood, the guts, the poop, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't bother me at all. The rest were fun. The rest were adorable. They were so cute. They poop everywhere. They're so cute, but it was the puke. I could not stand the puke, and that house was so hot that we were filming in. And we used this horrible smelling cream of mushroom soup. And it was just, and they put some other gunk in there too, just to make it have texture and that. And then this thing comes down the stairs, wearing full Victoria makeup and everything, but she's eating this horrible smelling bag of corn nuts.
It was not ranch. You keep telling everyone it was ranch. It was normal corn nuts.
They smell like ass. and she just right up in my face, "Dave, what's wrong?" And I'm just like, I can't. I know because Damien knows I can't stand puke. Especially, he knows that, and I think he deliberately put that in there. And the whole time, because like sometimes one of our fuzz guys, Steve Southern, fills in for me to be my arm in scenes when I'm getting in makeup or something like that. I was like, can Steve just be my arm right now for me? Because this is I'm like, "No, Dave, no. Your face is totally in the shot right now, and so you have to be there." My face was never in the fucking shot.
The shot was here.
Yeah. It was just like this. Oh, that was rough, but I was very proud of myself. I soldiered through, so I was like, "Yay, I made it." But that's the scene that almost broke me. So, yeah, plus it's horrible. It's a horrible scene.
And Matt.
So this is a question for you, David. What's your favorite kill scene in all 3 of the movies, if you even have one?
I loved the Santa kill. I thought that was so much fun because it was just a combination of the horrible gore and just some great jokes in there. And I thought that whole entire scene is my favorite film. This is my favorite thing I've ever filmed. Period. That whole entire bar scene, I just had a blast with these guys. It was like, because these are guys I've grown up watching in movies my whole entire life, and I get to go up there and do comedy with these guys and play around for a few days. And especially, we had so much fun with the whole torture scene. He's just improvising like a champ over here, just throwing me comedic gold the whole entire time just to work off of. And I had a blast. The kill itself was just so cool. I felt like, Mr. Freeze on steroids, just going crazy with this. And we actually wanted to take that further. We just never got a chance to finish it all. But we ran out of time. I was supposed to take Cole, light it on fire and shove it into his eyeballs. Yeah, almost had another day. But it was like, that's how it goes sometimes. But I think we still got the effect with the snowman, with the character nose and everything. Yeah, that's tearing off the beard. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the beard has his lips still dangling. I think it's such a wonderful, gory detail, and I just love that whole scene is just so much fun.
It was a blessing to do it. We had time to do it. It wasn't rushed. We had 3 days with Bradley and Clint and David. And I like to just say, of all the things in that, being and the spritzing and the ripping and my buddy, the cop, I've told a few of this, but he says, hey, in the movie, when they make it look like he's spitting on you, how do they do that? And I said, he spit on me. And my buddy was like, oh. That's what grossed you out?
Right, that's what
That was the worst part of it for you?
Well, it's because he has the real life experience.
Oh, yeah, as a cop.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it affected him.
He was not happy.
Does anyone else want to contribute to that answer? Favorite kill in any of the movies?
Well, there was just one in part one.
Oh, God. Well, that's a matter
of the decapitation scene. I love Kaylee's death, actually. I think it doesn't get enough credit. The acid and the way we did that and how they had so many blood tubes and things and pumping up your face and exploding and then cracking the chest open. I mean, it was a lot of fun to see that happen. And actually, a cool thing about it was Damien had asked me to create the label for the acid, and I ended up putting my grandfather's name on the acid. So that was a cool homage to him. So let me do that. So that was cool.
Anyone else have an answer?
I'd like to know Sam Scaffidi's favorite kill.
It was definitely when you got murdered.
That's what I wanted to hear. If you couldn't tell.
Climaxing when he screamed.
I literally yelled at you, Samantha, don't do it!
Yeah.
No, actually, it is one of my favorite scenes because I like the way it's all cut together. It was the most awkward fucking thing to shoot. But, and you weren't even in the room.
They wouldn't let me.
Well, you were. Okay, well,
I didn't know. I actually didn't know that you were shooting that at that time.
Okay. It
They
wasn't
were
a closed set, by the way.
No,
So you were allowed.
But she wanted everybody to come up. She was like, more the merrier.
No, we just didn't have time to clear the room. It is one of my favorite scenes, the way it's cut together, and I think it's hilarious when he rips and all of a sudden you start to scream. I think that's the way they.
Right at the moment you.
I was definitely. Yeah, I was like, how is this gonna cut together? It was very strange. And even just reading it, I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. But it actually is one of the sounds weird favorite scene that I'm in and kills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, any other questions out there? Creepy, disturbing girl.
This one is for Samantha. The shard of glass scene. I think made every woman go, oh.
Not every woman.
And
Not
many
everyone got
men.
excited.
I was gonna say, how did you prepare and how did you feel doing that?
How did you prepare? Well, I didn't get photos of Johnny.
I have that effect on women.
Yes. I feel like ever since I finished one, ever since then, Terrifier 1, I just dissociated from all of it. So I just was like, okay, that's what we're doing. And so, but I didn't think actually, because I'm really good friends with everyone, I didn't think that filming it was gonna be awkward. I was like, okay, let's go in. I'm probably gonna do some weird like monster, like some weird thing. And Damien's like, no, I want it to be really real. And I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be interesting. So of course, like I know all these guys, and it was at the end of the day. We only had like 30 minutes really to get it. And they propped me up, and I forgot. I got into the job, propped me up. And I forgot. I've been acting. I've been a filmmaker for a long time, so I was like, I just totally forgot that when you call action, everything was dead silent. So imagine if this room just went dead silent. And you're like on stage, and the light's on you, because literally I'm being lit, and everyone's like cast in shadow, like little bats in an attic, and I'm just like having to simulate this thing with very real. And that was very awkward. And I think it was so awkward that Damien almost left set, he told me, because he was so uncomfortable watching me do it. And David was my eyeliner. So if you can imagine, David was like, oh, I'll be your eyeliner, I'll be helpful. And he like gets out like that. And I'm just doing this the whole time, staring at him. And David's screaming like, more chest, more neck. So I'm rubbing. And then at one point, you were like, and he just turned.
So you're telling me Art the Clown couldn't even watch?
No, he was so disgusted.
Oh.
Now, while I was filming, I got even more self-conscious. Like, I guess it's not good. So it was very uncomfortable, shoot.
I have a question. I was told that it's Phil's legs from the waist down.
My whole body is
just the whole
face.
My hands and his legs.
That makes sense.
No, but I will say to make some jokes there, but Damien was amazing. Everyone was amazing. Everyone checked in and was like, are you sure you don't want us to clear the set? Damien kept checking in, are you sure you're okay with this? And even when the scene was edited, Damien sent it to me first. I didn't even think he would. And he said, hey, can you, well, maybe not first, but he sent it to me. And he said, can you take a look and tell me?
Look at Pornhub first.
Yeah. Oh. He asked me if I was comfortable with the scene, if there was anything in it that like made me uncomfortable that he wanted me to react. Or, give my input. And I, of course, said, David, whatever you want, if you're happy with it, and it, like I said, it became one of my favorite scenes. Oh, maybe got that. But yeah.
And how you sign so many charges.
I love it. Oh, a 4-year-old actually found a little piece of fake glass and came up to me, didn't know what it was from, and asked me to sign it. And I was like, I know you don't know what this is, but one day you will. Name your parents. So yeah, I find lots of.
Oh boy.
Anyone in this section? Back, in the back. You? Yeah.
This is for David. Do you have, out of all the items that's used for the kill scene, which one is your favorite?
Oh, good question. That's a hard one. Oh my gosh. I mean, I think probably my favorite one is, because I think it's probably more iconic weapon, because you've never seen a weapon used like this before by any other horror icon. He uses so many, he's used blades, all that kind of stuff. But like, I really like the flail, the cat of nine tails like weapon he has in part 1 and 2.
The whipping?
Yes.
Obviously you're saying you enjoy
It's got all the, it has all no, but it's got all those different blades on there. But what I love too is I think that's more an iconic weapon, because what people don't realize, all those ropes that are there are not ropes. That's human hair from his victims that he's braided together and made into those ropes that are on that flail. So I think that, yeah, a friendship bracelet. But I think it's a really cool weapon, and it does its job. It's horrible, and he also gets his own comeuppance with that weapon, which I thought was really cool too. When like Sienna uses it against him, and she actually really got me with that weapon one time, because I felt so bad. Because both for her in the first film,
I enjoyed it.
I mean, like when I'm really whipped, we use rubber instruments, but it still stings when it hits you. And with Sienna, I was trying my best just to hit on the actual costume part, but she has so much exposed skin, so of course physics takes over, and it was sometimes hit the exposed skin. It stings. And once she got a hold of the weapon, she did one take, and stupid me, it's my fault. I went a little bit too far forward where she was supposed to come across my face with it, and I got right on the tip of my lip, and I was like, oh, it felt like a bee sting, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this is what they were feeling, like Samantha and Elliot and Lauren and whoever else got hit by that. That's what they were feeling all those times I had to use them, like, oh shit, and then Lauren's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I deserve this. I deserve this. But I think that's the coolest one that he's got.
And he's full of crap. Nobody got hit with the thing. I was the producer. I made sure nobody got hurt.
No one got hurt on these films.
Okay, one more audience question, and then we're wrapping it up. You in the front.
I just wanted to know, since the series began, is there anything like interesting, fascinating, or surprising about yourself that you've learned while going through the journey, whether it be like filming or being with all
are without you guys. Like the first film, like, you know, we made it for just a small amount of money, and we didn't think anybody was gonna see the thing. And it was the fans that saw it originally when it was released on just like Vimeo and like DVD that got it put on Netflix, which then launched it to so many more people. Which then part 2 was funded by the fans with the Indiegogo campaign. So that, and then part 2 really boom launched us when we got to release that in the theater. So and it just snowballed since then. It's because of you guys. So that's an incredible thing to see happen. But personally, for myself, this film really helped me get over a lot of my own like body issues that I have. So I grew up bullied constantly, and I was very skinny child. I got made fun of all the time for being skinny, and it was in the first film where I did the Buffalo Bill scene. Because Damien was like, hey, I got a sick idea. Because in the script originally, I was just wearing the body parts over the costume. And Damien is like a few days before we're in the car together, and he's like, I got a sick idea for this scene. I want to run it by you first, because it's totally your call. He's like, can you do it nude? And I'm like, oh God, who wants to see that? Yeah.
Damien.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, David.
And I was like, you know what? It's like, I'm looking at what Catherine was having to do in the movie, where she was exposing herself in such a vulnerable state. And I thought, you know, she's willing to do that for this kill scene. I can do this myself. And I'm like, yeah, that would be very, very sick of the brain for him to do. Put someone else's body parts on his own body and walk around like that. Just to mess with his victim's head. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so like my first time really being on screen, I'm showing my butt to people. And that, it helped me really get over a lot of those insecurities I had with myself. And so it's like, that was my own little personal journey I went on. So I've become a lot more comfortable with who I am as a person since that first film.
I would like everyone to answer this question because it's a great question. Let's start with you.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, will you be doing naked photo ops?
I would break those cameras so fast. That actually happened to me. Oh my God, this is a real great story. No, I did. Yes, I was in an audition I did years ago for Wendy's. They do a whole thing where they have different fans and they have to take their states. They're like how people write little letters on them at football games and stuff like that. And they wanted us we had to take off our shirts for this audition. I was the first one in there, and I even joked, I was like, God, I'm sorry if I break your camera again. I take off the shirt, and the camera breaks right now. I'm like, oh God. I didn't get the job. Yeah.
But you, let's start with you and go all the way down. Rephrase it. The question was, what is this taught you about what?
Is there anything interesting or fascinating or surprising about yourself that you learned while working in the series, whether it be in the movies or with all of us in the communities, or?
Do you mean just Terrifier specifically, or do you mean any movie?
Just any movie.
Any movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that you have to take your space, and that's okay. I'm not name dropping. I never drop names. Marlon Brando taught me that. But I worked on a Martin Scorsese movie a long time ago, and Ving Rhames.
Really not dropping.
Ving Rhames kind of directed the scene. He was in the scene, and he was like, he was like just telling us all, like, take your space. Like, you have such a limited opportunity to do something that's going to be around forever, right? Because film is forever. And so, that's like something that's always stuck with me, and I remember every time, and I always try to take my space, make the most of it. So, yeah, as much as I can, I try to ad-lib and improv and stuff like that, unless it's Quentin Tarantino. Then you can't really do that stuff. Who would want to? It's already so good. But yeah, so that's me.
There are two small things I'll answer quickly. One was Terrifier specifically. I'll keep it with Terrifier. It helped me get over a fear that I had. I had a really bad head cast experience in another film, and it set me into like this crazy panic attack and all of this stuff. And then when I was put into Terrifier, Damien's like, hey, I want to kill you off in this movie, and I think it'd be really cool to get decapitated. And I started having, you know, palpitations because of that. And it was no, really, and I talked to him about it, and he was like, listen, don't worry. He's like, I'll coach you through it, and I did it because I wanted to try to get over that. I'm really happy I did it. You know, we went through it. Damien was just awesome, and it was like a really cool thing. So now I'm like not bothered by it at all. So that was something that terrified me personally. I don't really talk about it much, but that's something that I was able to get over. And the other thing was that I feel personally on my journey that I gained with some really, really great friends and people that I respect immensely, that I work with all the time. And as you see, we work together in a lot of things, and you know, so that was really cool to you know, get to know these people and call them family. I don't want to name drop either, Phil Falcone.
For me, it's just the power of like loving what you do and coming onto this set, and all of these guys, but Damien specifically, just loves what he does, and he does what he loves. And does that make sense? And I think just, you know, that's just a lesson for me when I'm trying to make my stuff, and for everybody. It's like if you just stick to what is true to you, then I think that, you know, you'll find your audience.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I'll kind of add on what Johnny said. I think what was amazing about this is sometimes we show up to set and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, Chip, you were supposed to say did not, and you said didn't. And you're like, what? Does it really matter? But with this, when in the mall scene in particular, like we had a script, but Damien was kind of like, just do what y'all do. And not being able to hear some of the one-liners he was throwing to the kids, when I saw at the premiere, I died laughing. And Bob has a great line when he throws off to a horrible convention they went to one time. Yeah. And he throws that in there, it's better than Louisville. And so, you know, it was just fun that scene, and I was kind of like, when you're given the freedom to play, there's gold that comes out of it.
Oh God, I'll keep it to this, because I think for those of us that have been doing this for a while, movies come and go, TV shows come and go. I mean, I think everybody has a story where they've shown up, worked with somebody for 2 months, you never see them again in your life. This particular project has afforded the opposite. Has afforded for all of us to really get to know each other, like much farther beyond. We don't see each other for a couple months. How you doing? How's the family doing? How's the thing doing? We get to know all you guys. Some of you guys are reoccurring. I'm sure for David, a lot of you are reoccurring a lot. And for me, that's worth more than any of this stuff, because it's about people, right? About relationships, and that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that I've worked with that I will never get to see again in my life, because that's just how it goes. So this is very special.
Love you, man.
I said it for that.
I just met him.
David and Daniel, I hate wearing prosthetics. Kidding, no, I do. I learned that about myself. I had a lot of tough time wearing those prosthetics, but I did love and respect the artists that I work with. But I think to go back and say that one thing I learned, and it comes from the top down, on Terrifier that was really refreshing was I came from independent filmmaking as an actor and made my own different films. And you go off and sometimes you do things bigger or you start dealing with a lot more money, but to see Damien and Phil, especially from the beginning, be so passionate about the work, and it's always been about the work, it's always been about story, that even there's been offers, you know, that would make life so much easier, and making Terrifier has never been easy. It's been fun, there's been a lot of highs, I'm sure a lot of lows that we don't know about, but it's really refreshing, and I already knew that about myself, but I was reminded of it, and like then you start to bring in the actors, everyone on here, you know, it isn't easy, but we love what we do, and I think that's the thing when people who aren't horror fans watch Terrifier, they're like, oh, these fucking people. And then you actually meet these people and they're artists and they really care. And I needed to see that and experience that, especially even Damien and Phil and David, everyone on 3. It was really, really refreshing because I feel like a lot of days it's never really about the story anymore. It's about the money, it's about getting it out there, it's about getting your face out there as opposed to the work, which was
that's it. That's what makes me most happy, and I love these people. Now I get to hang out with them as much as I want. It's the best.
Yep. Moving right on.
Okay, so I was happily retired, and for some unforeseen reason, I decided to start a new career, which was films. Met Damien, started there, and at that point, I thought I was a very nice guy. I thought everybody loved me, and then Damien explained to me that I'm a miserable bastard and nobody really likes me. I've gotten better, as Sam would say. She's trying to make up for breaking my chops on 3, but I've always been the type to push the boundaries and to try harder and to not listen to the rule of thumb. I've always tried my own way and to push things, and I've learned more and more, especially in this. You know, the first con I came to, I walked on the floor and I said, "What am I doing here? Look at these people, they're all fucking maniacs." And I'll say that to this day, these are all weirdos in the greatest sense ever. I love everybody that comes, I love talking to everybody. Probably the smartest people that know about film come to the horror convention.
Hell yeah.
Because I've gone to the Hollywood conventions, and I can tell you, I don't think the people that go to those are as sharp. And you guys can dissect any type of film, and that's amazing to me. But now to shift from there to something that I like people and I like hearts, and I can tell you, dealing with people on a set, I can tell you there's so many different types of personalities, and trying to keep everybody is tough. But I'm in my 4th film, and I haven't had any problem. Minor problems. Everybody has minor problems. But I can tell you, I would work with anyone here over and over and over again, except for Dan. But no, seriously, no, Dan, I love Dan. It's an amazing bond that you make. It's unbelievable, because you're going to be on a set with somebody for as many hours as you're going to be, and let me tell you something. It's grueling. It's grueling. It's grueling work, especially making a horror film, especially when you're in a barn that has no heat, and you're in the middle of the winter. It's amazing, and everybody wanted, like they've all mentioned, they strove to be the best that they could be, to make the project the best it could be, and I'm thankful to all of them, and I'm thankful to all of you, because without you, none of us are up here.
That's right.
When you're the last, I'm speaking now.
Dan has a lot to say.
When you're the last to go, the responsibility is to keep it short. Despite that, you're seeing lightning in a bottle. That's what you're seeing here. 40 years in Hollywood, maybe longer than almost anybody sitting here. 40 years in Hollywood, I've seen lightning in a bottle twice. This is the second time, and I'm proud to be part of it. So thank you for being here and witnessing it with us.
Amazing. Thank you.
Left side!
A standing ovation.
Yeah.
First, I'm going to take a selfie with everybody. So everybody turn around. You all turn around. Phil, take your time. Everybody stand up. Oh, there we go. Here we go. On the count of 3, everyone say, yeah!
All right. All right. Who you got here? Bradley? gotta go.
The house.
Thanks, y'all.
Good luck. Break legs.
What's somebody's phone there? Watch it, watch it, watch it.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Hey, give it a leave.
Yeah, sure.